Welcome! We are taking a look at the Buzzy Bees update today. Taking a look at all things bee related. Honey, honeycombs, honey nests, beehives, and the honey block. So yeah, enjoy! Boom! Hey guys! Today we're talking about the Buzzy Bees update and the new blocks that it's introduced. We're going to run through the honey block, the bees nest, beehives, the actual bees themselves, the new food type, the honey that's been introduced, and we're going to take a look at all that in quite a lot of detail. So yeah, let's just jump in. Bees spawn in plain biomes, sunflower plains, and flower forest. So what we're going to do is just have a look on oak trees and birch trees, because there is a 5% chance that in the biomes mentioned, a bee nest will spawn on those trees. So we're in a plains biome right now, and oh, actually I've just spotted a bee nest over here. So here's one right here. And this is in a plains biome, and it has spawned on an oak tree. And this one's actually already ready to harvest. You can see that the block looks like it's full of honey, and it's got dripping particle effects as well, signifying that it's ready to harvest. So if you can find yourself a flower forest, and I happen to know that there's one around here because I've chosen the seeds specifically so I can show you this real easily. In a flower forest, like you can see, we're in a flower forest here. Look how many flowers there are. Because of the frequency of trees, oh, there's a bee right there. Because of the frequency of trees, where do you live, buddy? Is he hiding from the rain? Because of the frequency of trees, it means that there's a better chance for a bee nest to spawn. Because, like I said, there's a 5% chance that on any of these trees that the nest will actually spawn. So with more trees, there's a greater opportunity for that to happen. And look, we found another ready to harvest bee nest with the particle effects and the honey there, ready to go. So yeah, so if you definitely want to find some bees, try to find a flower forest, plains biome, or a sunflower biome. Time to look at some behavior. So, the first thing most people probably want to know is what happens when they sting you, or what happens when they're angry. There's a few ways you can anger a bee. If you hit one, then it angers that bee and his little buddies around him. So if I hit this guy, see that they're pretty angry, and it's angered all of these guys in here as well. Look. So let's let one of them sting me and show you what happens. So he spins around, gets me with his stinger. I get poisoned. And unfortunately, what happens to little bees now, that they're quite aggressive. So they're going to get me. See his little stinger's gone? Now these guys are actually going to fly around for a while. Am I going to die? Nope. These guys will fly around for a while like this. And then they'll just die. So we'll just watch this guy in a minute. He's just going to sadly die. Just watch him in his last days. Dude, I know you just want that little flower as well, don't you? You can't have it. No, sorry. Nope. Just gonna follow him. We're gonna follow Bob here. Come on, Bob. Ah, Bob's dead. You can also anger bees by harvesting the honey or honeycomb from their beehives or bee nests. So let's grab some bottles and shears so I can just show you that real quick. So as you can see, this beehive right here is ready for harvest. You can see because of the honey gooing out of it. So if we right click this without first subduing the hive, then it will anger them. I'll show you how to subdue the hive a little bit later when we talk about harvesting and honey and everything. But this will anger the bees. They'll all pop out as well. So as you can see, they're all ready to attack me, as is that one over there. So we're going to run away. We don't actually want to end up killing these bees. they should buzz off pretty soon. So it only lasts about 30-40 seconds. And we can do exactly the same thing with shears. So as you saw with the bottle, we got some honey. Let's do the same thing with shears. And this will make all the bees in here pop out all angry and give us our honeycomb. Bees don't only attack players, they'll also attack any mobs that harm them. So let's just show you what happens. It's pretty interesting. So if we spawn in a load of bees, we need a lot for this. So we'll spawn in a load of bees. Right, and then we're going to spawn in a skeleton. The idea here is that when the skeleton tries to shoot me, he's going to shoot one of these bees. So we need a lot of them in here to make sure his arrow will hit one of these bees. Oh, look, a little baby bee! Right, so that's a lot of bees. Okay, now watch what happens. That skelly is going to anger at me, anger all the bees, and they're going to go kill him. And now when he's dead, they're still angry, so they'll come and attack me. So I'm their secondary target. So there's no way I'm getting out of here alive. That's it. Killed by bees. That's a lot of bees. And now all the bees that stung me and the mob are going to die. On their own. Oh, they're still angry. They're still I've walked into an angry swarm. So, yeah. Even though I didn't anger them and I've already died, they still, just because they're angry, they are still going to try to attack me. But they're all going to start dying pretty soon, which is sad time. Yeah. Oh, there they go. There they go. They should just start dropping out of the sky. This is what happens when bees sting you. Lose their stingers, and then they die. Oh, there goes another one. And another. Poor guys. Another cool little bit of bee behavior is if you hold a player is holding a flower, you see all those bees just suddenly turn around, so they ignore me, and now they love me. Oh, it didn't quite work that time. But the bees will follow a player holding a flower. So if we run over this way, these bees should start following me. As you can see, we've got these guys following me. And eventually, if I stop, the bees will land on the ground to rest and wait for my next movement. So they're all just kind of like hanging around there, waiting for me. Wait to see what happens. So I'm going to put my flower away. I'm done, bees. Let's put the flower away. And then they kind of go back to their work. Get the flower out again. And they should start to crowd around me. Yep, there you go. So if you wanted to, you could collect bees quite easily in the wild. And they should keep up with you pretty well. Yeah, so you can collect some bees, bring them home, do whatever you need with them, breed them, make your own little farms. So one thing we haven't really talked about yet is how to breed these little guys. And it's really easy. You can grab any flowers, even a wither rose, grab 2 adult bees and just feed one flower and they go into love mode. Feed the other one, even the wither rose. And yep, then they go off, do their little birds and the bees thing. And you get a little tiny bee who's like super uber cute. And I'll get a little flower out because I want to look at him. Dude, you're awesome. So cute. Yes, that's how you breed bees. Very easy. So one thing that might slightly annoy you with bees is they kind of just wander off, like this guy over here. So if a bee doesn't have a home, they will wander off in search of one. And that can be really annoying. So what you can actually do is you can get a lead. Come here, bee. And you can put a bee on a lead, which is pretty awesome. And you can just kind of lead him around where you want him. So we're going to stick you there. I'm going to go catch some more bees. Come here, guys. Catch you, and we'll catch you. Thought I saw another one right there. And you are the other one. We'll catch you. Come here, dude. We're gonna put you on a post. Right. So now we're gonna have our little collection of bees. As you can see, that's pretty cool. We can put them all on here. There's our little bee collection. Now, the only annoying thing about this is, even though I guess they're kind of your bees, they're still kind of not your bees. And if you anger one, they will still all try to, they'll get all angry. But actually, they can't get me because they're on, but all their buddies can. Look. he still got me even though he's tethered. So it looks like their pathfinding is a little bit buggy when they're on a leash, but they will still attack you even when they're leashed. Let's look at bee housing. So in front of me I have the bee nest. This is the naturally spawning bee housing. This spawns for Minecraft 1.15 in plains, the flower forests, and the sunflower biomes. It spawns on the birch and oak trees, and these will typically hold up to 2 or 3 bees. Any bees that don't have a home will just keep wandering the world until they find a bee nest, a naturally occurring one like this, or a user-built one as a beehive. And these are really easy to craft, and I'll show you how to do that now. If you just, oh, I've already done this. If you have some honeycomb and some oak planks, I'll show you how to get the honeycomb a bit later. 3 in the middle, and any type of planks surrounding it makes you a beehive. And then you can place these like so. Pretty nice, right? So the beehives and bee nests can be broken easily by a player. You can break them with your fist, but remember, when you do break them, all the bees inside will come out angry. Also, any bees around will start to swarm on you. So as soon as I break this, they get angry, they're going to start running at me. So we can just walk away until they are no longer annoyed. Okay, they've chilled out now, so we're going to put the beehive back. So even though you can break it with your fist, the fastest way to break it is with an axe. As you can see, that was pretty fast. It's angered these guys, so we're just going to run away until they've calmed down again. Okay, everyone's chilled out again, so I'm going to put the beehive back. Something that's really cool is that if we break this bee nest, can do it on beehives as well. If we break this bee nest with any silk touch item, I'm going to use an axe because it's the fastest. Yes, it will annoy the surrounding bees, so these guys are still going to get angry at me. But anyone who's inside, any bees that are inside this, won't come out angry, and they will stay inside, and they will also retain their data, so they will retain their name and health points and everything about them. So let's break that. Oh, that guy actually got me. We're going to run over here away from these until they've finished being angry at me. And when I return, I'll put the hive down, and the state of the hive is saved as well. So if it's got honey in it, you'll see that the honey is still there, and the bees inside are still there as well. So it's a really good way of, if you find them out in the wild, picking them up without losing. You could wait till bees go inside, pick them up and put them back down at your house, so you can carry bees home basically, which is a really cool way of getting the bees home. So if I put these back, you should see that, yep, it's retained its state. So they've kept the honey there, and everything about the hive is intact, which is brilliant. Pollination. Obviously, bees can be used for pollination. And what happens is a bee will come out of its little hive or nest, and it will fly around until it finds a flower that it likes. As you can see, these guys are currently doing some work. And when they fly away from the flower that they finished pollinating, they'll have some little pollen on their bums. So their texture will change from this to, I'm pretty sure one of these guys is going to do it pretty soon, because they're hanging out here for a very long... There you go. This guy here has got it on his bum. He's not letting me look at him though. Like that. And when they fly over your crops, you can see these little particles dropping off. And when the particles hit the crops, there is a chance that it will trigger another tick of growth for that particular plant. And every bee carrying pollen has 10 tries to do this, or 10 opportunities to do this, before which it will fly back into its little hive or nest, stay in there for about 2 minutes, complete its work, and fly back out, ready to complete the cycle. And they have the ability to pollinate wheat, potatoes, carrots, beetroots, melons, pumpkins, and sweet berry bushes. Yeah, really cool, because you can actually make little farms like I made right here, where it's like the growth is faster because of all the bees contained within inside doing all the pollinating. The only thing you have to watch out for is when you do come to harvest, obviously if you're going to be punching, oh no, I've wrecked that one. If you're going to be punching, then you might accidentally hit a bee and anger it. So take care, especially in survival. Take care. So during pollination is not the only time that bees will go back to the hive. They'll also go back to have a little sleep at night. So if we set the time to night, we can hear and see all these guys going back to bed. So you can just hear that little popping sound. It's all the bees going to bed. Just let them all get tucked up. Sometimes you end up with a few stragglers. Don't worry too much about it. They do eventually sort themselves out. So these guys don't seem too sure about where they're going to sleep. Pick a good place. Pick a good place. You're going to be there all night. Oh, it's just these mama bee and little baby bee. Oh, he's gone to bed. Right. So all these bees are in bed now. And come morning, they will all pop out again. Wait for it. Wait for it. Boom! I love that. Brilliant. So, bees will also do this during a storm. So if we get a thunderstorm on the go, you can hear them all popping back into bed. They do not like the rain. Even though they're in a nice dry place, they will all pop back in because they just don't want to get their little wings wet. Very much like real bees. So yeah, these guys will all pop in. We'll clear the weather. We'll clear it out. We don't want to freak them out too much. So we'll clear the weather. As soon as it's clear, you should hear them all pop back out again. Oh, here they come. Brilliant. Love that. So good. So right in front of me, I have a bee nest and a beehive. Both of them are not yet ready to harvest the honey or the honeycomb. When they're ready, they look like this. The bee nest will go from this to this, so you can see the little globules of honey here ready for harvest. And you'll also notice that it should be dripping honey. There you go. So as you can see here, it's got some particle effects underneath where it's dripping the honey out. So that's another way you know that it's also ready. So when it's in a tree, you'll see that honey dripping out. And the same thing happens with the bee nest as well. Sorry, the beehive. It'll go from this kind of look to this new texture, and it will have dripping globules of honey underneath it. There you go. Now, the one thing to remember is when you go to harvest that, so for example, if we want to harvest, oh, I haven't got anything on there. If we want to harvest the honey, we would use bottles, and if we want to harvest honeycomb, we would use shears. So you just simply like right click. Problem is though, when we do this, all the bees come out really angry, and if you're harvesting stuff, they're going to start attacking you, and you do not want that because they will anger any nearby bees and could potentially kill you. So what you want to do is get a campfire and put a lit campfire underneath. This will subdue the bees so that when you do collect it, they're not angry. See? So I've got some honey, I didn't anger anybody, no angry bees came out and attacked me, and I've got my bottle of honey here. You can also do this, so apparently you can put a campfire within 5 blocks of a hive and it will still work. You can also just have a fire directly underneath the nest or hive and it will work as well to subdue the bees. So you can safely collect your honeycomb and honey. Now that we've harvested a load of honey, let's show you what it can do. It's pretty good. It's one of the only foods that, I think it's the only food actually, that even when you're completely full, you can keep consuming it. And it will give you plus 2.4 saturation, and it also removes poison effects. So if I was to annoy a bee, right, let's just run away. So I've got poison. Let's just have a quick little slurp of some honey. There we go, remove poison effect. And yeah, So you can drink it for 3 hunger, so we'll wait till I'm really hungry and then we'll show you that. There we are, we're really hungry now, so let's just see how much the honey fills up on our hunger bar. Just gonna... Yep, 3. Fills up 3. Cool, so this stuff's really good because we can just keep drinking it even if we don't need to. Get that extra saturation as well, which is brilliant. Time to look at the old honey block. Well, the new honey block, I guess. So, now that you've got all your honey that you've collected, what can you do with it? Well, one, you can eat it, but also you can craft a honey block. So we just need 4 honey bottles here and just put them in the craft block and we get our little honey block. And we get the bottles back too, which is amazing. So this honey block, what can we do with it? Well, there's a lot, so we're just going to power through. Firstly, in terms of redstone, it is counted as a transparent block, which means you cannot pass a redstone signal through it. So in this example, these repeaters, us trying to activate these blocks or pass a signal through these blocks respectively. Obviously the dirt block can do it and the light lights up. The honey block cannot, and the light won't light up. Also, you cannot place redstone on top of it. So in this case, if I try to place redstone on top, I can't. So I cannot use it to bump up the signal to the lamp here. In terms of using it kind of as a slime block, yes, they do stick together and you can move them with a piston. Sticky piston will push them back and forth, and normal piston will obviously just push them forward. But there's other cool stuff you can do with these as well. So let's just take a look at all the other properties. If we were to throw an item on top, do the same thing with the slime for comparison. If we move the slime block, as you can see, the item just stays where it is, nothing happens. If we move the honey blocks, however, the item moves with the honey blocks, which is really cool. So let's grab these and let's show you what happens like this. So if we now throw an item in front of each of these, oh, I managed to pick that one up. If we throw an item in front of each of these and go and push them, so watch what happens with the honey. We push it, pulls back, and it basically drops in front. With the slime, however, push it and it launches out in front. So look how far they ended up. If that's useful for something, I don't know, maybe. In terms of what blocks can the honey move, if there is a block adjacent to the honey, in this case we have got a grass block, a movable block adjacent to the honey block. When we move the piston, so when we activate the piston, it will move the honey block and move the adjacent block. So this works for all movable blocks. So if we wanted to, we could do this and it will move all of those and pull them back with it as well. It will not, however, do this for any glazed terracotta or slime blocks. So it completely ignores both of those. But we could put a block on top of that and it will move that and still ignore the other ones. Honey can't move immovable blocks, just like slime blocks. So it will ignore the obsidian here. And even though honey can move the dirt on its own, if the dirt is blocked, or if a movable block is blocked by an immovable block, then this will do nothing. In this example, the honey block will ignore the water. It will move past, connect to, or stick to this grass block and pull it back and get rid of the water. Like that. So it does ignore the liquid. When you have a honey block next to a slime block, as we showed, they don't stick together. So in this example here, and this shows that in a kind of more obvious way. So if we move the honey block, it will move on its own. If we move the slime block, it will move on its own. Now, Mumbo Jumbo does some really cool redstone machinery using this very particular principle here. In fact, I think it was him who basically pushed Minecraft to have it so they don't affect each other. So yeah, check out some of his machines. In this example, although the honey block does stick to the grass block, if we move the grass block, the honey block does not move with it. The honey block will only pull with it or go with something if the block being pushed is a honey block. So I'll just show you what I mean by that. So in this example, we're moving the max, which is 12. So the maximum a honey block can move is 12. In this example, we're moving a honey block stuck to lots of other honey blocks to move them. And you can do it in different configurations as well. So this one honey block is carrying, essentially affecting all of these honey blocks. As you can see, the whole thing moves like that. And in this example, we have replaced some of the blocks for other blocks that can stick to the honey to carry along with the movement. So there we go. Pretty cool, right? Now, there's some interesting properties to honey which you could use to easily troll your friends. So when you're walking on honey, it will slow you down. But you can also hide the honey because you can put the honey underneath carpet. It'll slow you down, but you can hear it. You can put it underneath slab. It slows you down. You can't hear it. And it also affects your jump. I'll talk more about the jump in a minute. You can also do it under a daylight sensor, and it works under all of the trapdoors, but you can hear it under the trapdoors. So as I said a second ago, it does affect your jumping. So a honey block will reduce your jump height by 85%. So normally you'd be able to jump 1¼ blocks, easily get on top of this block here. But the honey pulls that down to 3/16 of a block. So as you can see, I'm not really jumping that high at all. If we go up here, I'll just show you that the honey can really massively reduce your fall speed. So just going to do this a little bit gently. There you go. See how slow I'm going? So you can use it as a shoot or something, which is really cool. Honey will also reduce your fall damage to 80%, by 80%. So if we fall off here, we took very tiny amount of damage. Now if we fell off the other side, onto the grass here. So we did see some fall damage reduction. So very cool if you want to have like a little jump pad, just protect yourself. One of the other cool things about honey is you can use it to slide items. So if I threw some items at this, as you can see, they're sliding through it. It's really, really cool. So they were opposed to if I just throw it normally, it doesn't really go as far. I can actually make it go further with the honey. Not like that, that went too high. Just got to get it just right. You can do this with mobs as well, which is brilliant. And it can obviously do it with me. So one of the weird things about honey is I can place an item frame. I can place a painting. I cannot place a ladder. See, as I can't place the ladder on here. So that's a kind of weird oddity. I'm not really sure what that's about. So another weird thing about honey is, yes, it does reduce your jump height by a lot. But if you get on top of the block, and if we shift to the edge of this block, if we look at where we're stood now, we are stood right on the edge of this block in the transparent gooey bit. We now have full jump height. Even though if we stand back a bit, there we go, jump height massively reduced. Stand forward a little bit, probably a little bit more, normal jump height. So yeah, a little bit weird there, a little bit glitchy maybe, not sure, but it works. That's everything, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this little guide and tutorial, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you've got any questions or comments, you know what to do. Drop them in the comment section. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.